Yo, Kanye Nation, welcome back to the Kanye Scope. We've got a firestorm of Hollywood drama and global controversy brewing, and you know we're breaking it all down for you, fast. Get ready because Pete Davidson is predicting a major shift in fan perception for Fallout star Walton Goggins, and Goggins has a response that's pure gold. You don't want to miss this. Then, we dive deep into the Riyadh Comedy Festival, a massive event facing serious accusations of whitewashing and silencing free speech, featuring a lineup of A-list comedians like Dave Chappelle and Louis C.K. that's got the human rights world in an uproar. You don't want to miss this. And stick around because we're revealing the inside scoop on why some of your favorite comedians are either signing up or walking away from massive paydays in Saudi Arabia, and what it all means for their careers and the global stage. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. Hit that like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss a single second of the Kanye Scope. Walton Goggins' fiery response to Pete Davidson's fan fatigue prediction. Ever feel like a star is just everywhere? Pete Davidson thinks he knows who's next in line for that Pascal fatigue treatment, and he's pointed the finger at none other than Fallout's own Walton Goggins. Davidson dropped a bombshell on Theo Von's podcast, predicting that fans will eventually turn on Goggins just like they did with Pedro Pascal, who's been flooding our screens lately. He explained how quickly fame can flip, building stars up only to tear them down within months. But Walton Goggins, never one to back down, has responded with a classic Ghoulesque fire. Taking to Instagram, Goggins acknowledged Davidson's heads-up, admitting he's aware that fame has a shelf life. He's grateful for the projects he's working on and feels an obligation to promote them to honor the crews involved. He even playfully tells fans not to click on his name unless they want to, but if they do, he appreciates the support. Goggins concluded with a powerful statement. If this headline is a possibility or an inevitability, if this is my fate, well, F** it. I'm going to enjoy the F** out of it. Fans are buzzing about Goggins' candid and defiant response, with many praising his authenticity and refusal to be fazed by the pressures of fame. The conversation is heating up online about the nature of celebrity and the rapid cycle of public adoration and criticism. But is this just a Hollywood trend, or is there a deeper story unfolding? We're about to expose the controversy surrounding a major comedy festival that's got the whole world talking. Riyadh Comedy Festival sparks outrage, whitewashing or world stage. A-list comedians are descending upon Saudi Arabia for the Riyadh Comedy Festival, but this star-studded event is mired in controversy, facing accusations of whitewashing the nation's human rights record. Human rights organizations are sounding the alarm, calling it a blatant attempt to distract from a brutal repression of free speech. The festival boasts names like Pete Davidson, Jimmy Carr, Chris Tucker, Bill Burr, Kevin Hart, and Louis C.K., with some reportedly offered astronomical sums, upwards of $1.6 million to perform. However, other comedians like Mark Maron and David Cross have vocally criticized their peers for participating, with Maron quipping about laughter in the desert from the same entities linked to the Jamal Khashoggi murder. Concerns are amplified by the festival's proximity to the 7th anniversary of Khashoggi's death and reports of strict censorship rules, barring jokes that could degrade or defame the kingdom, its leaders, or religion. Comedian Atsuko Akatsuka shared these alleged restrictions after declining an offer, highlighting the tightrope performers must walk. The festival is part of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 plan to diversify its economy and image, but critics argue it's a high-priced PR stunt to launder the country's reputation amidst ongoing human rights abuses, including crackdowns on free speech and a surge in executions. The debate rages. Is this a genuine step towards cultural exchange or a calculated move to sanitize a controversial regime? And speaking of controversial deals, we're about to reveal which comedian was actually fired for speaking out, and the massive sums involved in this high-stakes game. Comedians face backlash over Saudi Comedy Festival, free speech versus big bucks. The Riyadh Comedy Festival is under fire, with top comedians like Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., and Pete Davidson performing in Saudi Arabia, drawing sharp criticism from human rights groups and fellow comics. Organizations like Human Rights Watch are calling the event a form of whitewashing, aimed at distracting from Saudi Arabia's severe human rights abuses and its suppression of free speech. Comedians such as Mark Maron and Zach Woods have publicly denounced participation, with Maron satirizing the event and Woods joking about comics whoring themselves out to a dictator. Several comics, including Shane Gillies and Mike Birbiglia, reportedly turned down lucrative offers. Human Rights Watch researcher Joey Shee urged performers to speak out against abuses or risk aiding the government's image laundering, especially given the festival's timing near the anniversary of Jamal Khashoggi's murder. Reports suggest performers were offered substantial sums, with Tim Dillon claiming he was offered $375,000 and others potentially receiving up to $1.6 million. Dillon himself was reportedly fired after making jokes about Saudi labor practices, despite initially stating he'd accept the money to look the other way. Comedian Atsuko Akatsuka shared alleged censorship rules from her offer, which prohibited material that could degrade or defame the kingdom or its leaders, highlighting the restrictions participants might face. The festival is part of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 initiative to boost its global image and economy. But critics argue it's a strategic move to deflect international scrutiny from its human rights record. But the story doesn't end there. We're diving into the impact of these mega festivals and what it means for artists navigating global politics and massive paychecks. Plus, get ready for a wild ride as we break down the latest on the oversaturation debate that has Hollywood talking. And speaking of rapid fame and potential backlash, we've got the latest on the rising stars and the forces that could bring them down. Stay tuned. Walton Goggins embraces his fate, a defiant reply to Pete Davidson's warning. In a candid moment that's resonating across Hollywood, Fallout star Walton Goggins has responded to Pete Davidson's prediction that fans might soon tire of him, much like they did with Pedro Pascal. Davidson, speaking on Theo Von's podcast, voiced concerns about the rapid cycle of fame, suggesting that Goggins, who has seen a surge in popularity, could be the next target of fan fatigue. He highlighted how quickly public perception can shift from adoration to criticism. Goggins, however, met this warning with characteristic grace and defiance. On Instagram, he thanked Davidson for the heads-up, acknowledging that fame is fleeting. He expressed gratitude for the projects he's involved in, emphasizing his obligation to promote them to honor the hard work of the crews. Goggins even humorously advised fans to skip his projects if they're tired of him, but welcomed their support if they choose to engage. His powerful closing statement, "If this headline is a possibility or an inevitability, if this is my fate, well, it. I'm going to enjoy the out of it," has been widely praised for its authenticity and resilience. The discussion touches on the intense pressures of modern celebrity, the public's shifting allegiances, and the challenges of maintaining a career amidst constant scrutiny. Goggins' perspective offers a refreshing take on navigating the unpredictable landscape of Hollywood. But what happens when the spotlight shines too brightly and the pressure to conform becomes immense? We're about to explore a global event where artistic freedom clashes with political realities, and the price of silence is steep. And from the world of comedy controversy, we're switching gears to uncover the latest buzz surrounding one of music's biggest icons and a groundbreaking new venture. You won't want to miss what's next. All right, Kanye Nation, let's do a quick rundown of today's hottest topics. Pete Davidson's prediction about fan fatigue led to a legendary response from Walton Goggins, who's embracing his fate. The Riyadh Comedy Festival is facing massive backlash for alleged whitewashing and silencing free speech, sparking outrage among human rights groups and comedians alike. Some comics turned down huge paydays, while others are facing consequences for speaking out about the controversial Saudi Arabian event. And finally, we've got the latest on a major music icon's potential new venture that's got everyone talking. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, drop a comment below telling us what you think, and follow us on all socials so you never miss a beat on the Kanye Scope.